You have been listening to a voice in your head for decades. Today, we find out where it came from and how to finally stop letting it win. Welcome back, friend. If you watched video one of this series, where we talked about the 5 reasons confidence fades in midlife, thank you for coming back. And if you are new here, I want to encourage you to go watch that one first. I will link it right here for you because what we talked about today builds on that foundation. And I want you to have the full picture. In video one, we talked about the external things that shake our confidence, the body changes, the hormonal shift, the culture, the workplace. And all of those things are real. But today, I want to go a layer deeper because here's what I have come to understand, both in my own life and in the woman that I coach. The biggest threat to your confidence is not what is happening around us. It is what is happening inside our own mind. And it is the voice in our head that has been telling us who we are and who we're not for most of our life. I want to tell you something that changed everything for me when I first understood it. The thoughts that make you doubt yourself, the ones that say you are too old, not smart enough, not ready, not enough, those thoughts, they were not born inside of you. You were not born doubting yourself. You were not born afraid. Somewhere along the way, someone or something planted a different story. And your brain took that story and built an entire case around it. Today, we're going to talk about how that happens, why those thoughts have so much power over our confidence, and most importantly, what you can actually do to change it. Because the research is clear, those beliefs are not permanent. That story is not the final word. And our brain, right now, at this stage of life, is still completely capable of being rewired. Friend, if you like this type of content, subscribe for more. So here is what neuroscience tells us. Every thought that you think travels along a neural pathway in your brain. And every time you think that same thought again, that pathway gets a little stronger, a little more automatic. You may have heard the phrase, neurons that fire together, wire together. The more you think a thought, the more your brain treats it as truth. So here's what happens over a lifetime. Someone tells you, a parent, a teacher, a partner, the culture, that you are not enough. Maybe it was not even said in words. Maybe it was simply the way you were treated. And your mind took that in, thought about it, and then your brain did exactly what it was designed to do. It went to work finding evidence to prove it true. The relationship that did not work, the job you did not get, the goal that fell apart, all of it filed neatly under one belief: I am not enough. Until that belief became so familiar, it stopped feeling like a thought at all. It started to feel like just the way things are. But here's what I need you to hear: familiar is not the same as true. And what your brain has learned, it can be unlearned. It is the science of neuroplasticity, the brain's lifelong ability to rewire itself and form new patterns at any age. Healing, growth, and change are always possible, even after decades of deeply ingrained negative thinking. This means that the story that you have been telling yourself about who you are, it is not too late to rewire it. Now, I want to talk about 4 stories that we tell ourselves that I see most consistently eroding confidence in the woman I work with, and to be honest, myself. I want you to notice as I go through these, which ones feel familiar to you. The first one is, I am what I have accomplished. If you have built your confidence on your achievements, your career, your titles, your roles, your productivity, midlife can feel like a crisis because roles change, careers shift, children grow up and leave. And if your sense of self worth has been sitting on top of what you do rather than who you are, when the doing changes, the confidence can collapse right along with it. But you are not your accomplishments. Your worth was never attached to your output. And the woman that you are right now, with everything you have lived, learned, and survived, it's not less valuable because the titles have changed. You are way more. The second one is, I am what other people say I am. This is one of the most quietly damaging beliefs I see in midlife women. We have spent so many years being defined by what we do for others, being the good mother, the reliable employee, the capable one. And somewhere in all of that, we started letting how others see us become the measure of how we see ourselves. And here's the truth. You are not what other people say you are, not the criticism, not the praise, not the way someone once made you feel. Other people's perceptions of you are filtered through their own wounds, their own limitations, their own story. So they do not get to write yours. Number three, I am what I look like. We have already talked in this series about the cultural pressure that women face. I wanted to name it here as a thought pattern because many of us have unconsciously allowed our confidence to become tied to how we look. And in a season where our bodies are changing in visible ways, that is a dangerous place to anchor your self worth. You are your wisdom, your kindness, your courage, the difference that you make, the way that you love, and the experiences you carry. Number four, it is too late for me. This is the one that I hear most often from women in midlife. And let me tell you, I have had those thoughts as well. I get it. And it breaks my heart every single time because it's simply not true. And the research backs that up completely. The belief that a window has closed, that reinvention, purpose, growth, and new beginnings are for younger women, it is one of the most limiting stories that we carry. And it is also one of the most socially reinforced. We live in a culture that does not celebrate the second half of a woman's life, but that does not make the culture right. Your life is not over. Your best contribution may not even have happened yet. And the confidence to go after what is still ahead, that is exactly what we are building right now. So now that we understand how thoughts become beliefs and which ones tend to do the most damage, let us talk about what to actually do when those thoughts show up, because they will. Even after all this work, they will still come. The goal is not to never have the thought. The goal is to stop letting them run the show. Here's a simple technique I use and teach, and I encourage you to try it this week. When a negative thought about yourself shows up, first name it. Say it to yourself. This is the thought that says I'm not enough. That is the thought that says it is too late. Because the moment that you name a thought as a thought rather than the truth, you create distance from it. You are no longer inside it. You are observing it. Neuroscience calls this cognitive diffusion. Brain imaging studies show that simply labeling a negative thought reduces its intensity and impact on the brain's threat response. You are literally changing your brain chemistry just by naming what you are experiencing. Then the second step is to release it, not fight it, not argue with it. Simply choose not to give it your attention. Say it quietly to yourself. That thought is not mine. It was given to me, and I am no longer willing to let it speak for me. The first time that you do this, the thought still has some power. The second time, a little less, because every time you interrupt the neural pathway instead of reinforcing it, you weakened it. Every time you redirect the thought, you build something new. Now, here are 5 transformative steps to put into practice and start rebuilding your confidence from the inside out. beginning this week. Step one is find the thought that has the most power over you. Take out your journal and finish this sentence. The thought that is limiting me the most is, write it down and name it, because you cannot release what you have not identified. Most of us carry one or two core beliefs that drive most of our self doubt. This step is about finding yours so you can stop letting it make decisions for you without your permission. For step two, trace it back and release it. Ask yourself, where did this come from? Who planted it? This is not about blame. This is about recognizing that this thought had an origin outside of you. You were not born with this thought. Someone or something placed it in you during a season when you could not defend yourself or had no awareness of it. Write it down. This thought was given to me by. I'm choosing to give it back and releasing it. That simple act of recognition is more powerful than you know, because you are taking back the authorship of your own story. Step three is replace it with a working affirmation. Traditional affirmations often feel hollow because they ask us to claim something our brain is not yet ready to believe. So instead of saying, I am completely confident, try something that feels honest and reachable. Something like, I am open to the possibility that I am more capable than I have been giving myself credit for. Or I am beginning to believe that what I want is still possible for me. This feels true. And because they feel true, your brain accepts them. And slowly it begins building a neural pathway around them. And that is neuroscience. Number four, keep one promise to yourself every day. Confidence is not built in grand gestures. It is built in small, consistent acts of self trust. Each morning this week, make one promise to yourself, something completely doable. This can be walking for 20 minutes, writing for 10 minutes, making the call, putting down the phone for an hour. It does not matter what it is. What matters is the message that you send yourself when you follow through. I am someone who does what she says she will do. That internal reputation, that is the foundation of unshakable confidence that is built one kept promise at a time. Number five, give yourself credit out loud. At the end of each day this week, write down just one thing that you did that the doubting version of you would have talked herself out of. One brave moment, one boundary held, one honest conversation, one step taken despite the fear, and then say it out loud. This is who I am becoming. Your brain is always listening. It is always collecting evidence and building a case for who you are. So this week, give it the right evidence, because the woman that you are becoming deserves to be acknowledged, not someday, right now. Friend, here's what I want you to take away with you today. The thoughts that have been dimming your confidence, they are not you. They are all stories written by other people's hands, reinforced by a culture that has not always told women about their worth. You have been carrying them for so long, they started to feel like facts. In video 3, we are going to go even deeper in rebuilding your confidence, specifically the practical steps to help you show up differently, move through the doubt, start living from the woman that you are becoming, so you don't want to miss it. Make sure that you are subscribed so it comes straight to you. And this week, I encourage you to do the 5 action steps, because the second half of your life does not begin on some future date when everything is perfectly aligned. It begins the moment that you decide to believe again. In the meantime, remember this: you are not too old, it is not too late, and you are not behind. You are right on time for the life that you are creating. So go and be unstoppable. I will see you in video 3. Until then, take good care of yourself. Bye, friend.